Добрый день, уважаемые участники конференции.
Good afternoon, dear conference participants. Our report is called Photovoltaic Phenomena of Solar Cells based on the p-CdTe n-CdTe and the p-CdTe and cadmium selenide, heteroconductors, heterostructures with high imputability content. In this paper, photovoltaic processes is solar cells based on the heterostructures n-CdS and IH and p-CdTe and cadmium selenide. These deep blue employees are considered. In this work, an increase in photoactive carriers was detected due to the presence to deep levels in the band gap of cadmium tellurium, whose activation energies REC is 1.15 electron volts. It has been elevated that an increase in photons leads to a decrease in electrical resistance in the p-cadmium tellurium n-CdS and p-cadmium tellurium and cadmium selenide structures, while an increase in temperature causes an increase in the coefficient of the linear expansion, which makes it possible to use such structures to convert solar energy into electrical energy. The study of the photoconductivity properties of thin layers has aroused interest in analyzing the structure and studying physical processes at the interference of crystals and these thin films. The process of photovoltaic phenomena in transition structures is similar to that which occurs in conventional semiconductors, where electron-hole pairs are due to photon absorption. Due to the internal potential of the interface, such photon sensitivity structures are located inside semiconductor devices, such as p-n junctions of diodes, metal semiconductor interfaces, heterojunctions. As part of the work, the experiments made an important observation. Fluctuations in the statistical potential outside the space change zone turned out to be practical identifications for the described processes. This discovery provided an opportunity to study in more detail the physical mechanisms occurring in the system and to clarify the parameters of its functioning. On the other hand, an alternative approach to the analysis was based on the assumption that quasi-Fermi levels have a limited possible of deviation both towards the conduction band and towards the valence band. This forecast indicated that the saturated photoelectric power generation represents a fixed percentage of the energy gap, which has been confirmed in the number of scientific papers. Thus, the performant research makes a significant contribution to understand the properties that determine the photoelectrode properties of p-n junctions and opens us prospects for further development in this field. As shown in the first figure, in the form of illumination by light radiation, the plane of the transmission zone is parallel for the interference between the crystal and the film, as shown in figure 2. This approach is very suitable for studying the interface of materials with different types of the conductivity between them. The transition between the p-CdTe and cadmium selenide and p-CdTe n-CdS materials were analyzed using this technique. At the same time, switching of the signal of conductivity was detected is measuring the light intensity of the p-CdTe and cadmium selenide materials at an energy level zone above the 1.2 electron volts. When analyzing the signal of the conductivity of the compounds p-CdTe and cadmium selenide, it was found that the p-CdTe material has some negative difference relative to the n-cadmium selenide. The analysis of the impurities in the cadmium tellure did not give any effect on the energy threshold of light, which in turn caused a change in the signal of conductivity. Taking into account all these data, we calculated what the position of the Fermi level at the transition boundary remains unchanged and does not depend on the location of the Fermi level inside the volume of materials. Figure 3 shows a cadmium tellurium that simulated a window for front light. Here the material with a wide energy level is used as a window. Short which radiation with energy below the energy level of the materials acts on the interface. One of the most important applications of photovoltaic effect in semiconductor technologies is the conversion of solar energy into electrical energy using solar panels. The widespread use of silicon solar cells as stable energy sources for space research required significant efforts to distinguish and improve the characteristics of solar cells.
По проектированию, улучшению характеристик элементов.
Scientists have noted that the photodetector of tensions of the similar materials is usually lower than that of the homogenation structures. However, the conduction of the surfaces at the boundary of such materials, for example, in n-CdS and p-SI type systems, can play a key role in efficient energy transformation. These states are capable of converting energy as efficiently as homogeneous silicon tensions. But despite this, in previous studies, the influence of boundaries between states was often accepted as insignificant. The reading of the solar radiation spectrum were obtained in the following figures, which show a process where energy dissipated as the band gap increases. However, it is known that the EMF increases with increasing band gap width. This simple analysis implies that there must be an optimal band gap value at which unit convocation efficiency is maximized. This is indeed the case, as scientists have demonstrated by calculating the maximum efficiency of solar energy conversion as the function of band gap of the material in this ideal homojuncture.
Демонстрируют ученые, вычисляя максимальную эффективность преобразования солнечной энергии, как функция ширины запрещенной зоны материала в идеальный геометперехода.
Therefore, they do not contribute to the photocurrent. This effect could be reduced or avoided alternately if the side of the transition on which the lighting falls was thin out. Unfortunately, the structure is not very good at it increasing the series resistance, which each turn reduces the efficiency of the element. It also shortens the life of the cells as energy particles in outer space cause serious damage to the surface layer of the cell. Before moving on, it is important to consider what the gradient of the conduction and valence regions is directly proportional to the power affecting the electron inside the conduction region, as well as the power affecting the void in the valence region, as shown in the following picture. The surface of the wideband material is eliminated, ignoring the current rejection loss. Only light particles with an energy level, since they are located far from the deployment zone, are not affected by the curtailment of the type that this. Therefore, the power does not contribute to the light flow. Photons acting in the bandgap region have energy less than the bandgap width of group 1. On the other hand, however, this can experience a small number of photons this energy. Analyzing the above data, we can say that the zone of the material with a limited gap in the K part, the main part of the energy conversion, is carried out. The activity energy in which is 1.50 electron volts falls on the energy states located in the forbidden area. It is due to the excitation of carriers when irradiating light from these deep levels and activating energy, what the photoconductivity increase and photo signal and current power increase. And so, this is the heterostructures can be used to convert solar energy into light energy. Thanks for your attention.
Святой энергии. Спасибо за внимание.